All right, let's not look at Bitcoin now. I think we're clear on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Slerf. Quickly. So Slerf, I think Slerf, if people aren't aware of what I've been saying over the last few weeks, Slerf is an early warning early warning for Bitcoin. It's very hard to time it, but Slerf is about 30 minutes earlier ahead of Bitcoin, I think, about 30 minutes to an hour ahead of Bitcoin. That being said, Bitcoin was pulling back and Slerf was still showing strength. So in the last couple of hours, actually, Bitcoin was ahead of Slerf, because now you see Slerf has just taken out this low. It's looking bearish, whereas it was looking quite bullish. Anyway, let me just have a look at Slerf. It's hard to do you know, real accurate technical analysis on these tokens without context, and the context is obviously going to be Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin does something crazy, then it really doesn't matter where you've got your lines drawn. The token will just ignore it and it will do something completely different. But anyway, I mean, it's just for fun, really. You know, sometimes you find some kind of amazing insight which actually gives you an edge. All right, so I'm looking at the HTX chart now on Slerf. Let me just have a look at CoinMarketCap and just make sure that Slerf is still got good volume. The volume's dropped a lot on Slerf, like significantly compared to what I remember. You see HTX in the last 24 hours, only $22 million worth of volume. It's not much in comparison to what it was. Perpetuals, having a look at the perpetuals, if it loads. See, Bybit now is actually putting just as much as volume on the perps as the spot on the HTX. Very interesting. It's a very interesting development. Whereas before Bybit was significantly less, like half of HTX, now they're on par with each other in terms of volume, and the volume has it's decreased significantly. It used to be much higher. Okay, possibly the people on spot are no longer trading. Maybe they've sold, or maybe they're just hodling. Who knows? No one really knows what's going on behind the scenes. The great thing about Slerf is that it's not a very high market cap token at the moment. It's only $150 million. The volume over the last 24-hour period has been about $66 million. So actually it's still quite a good volume ratio to market cap. It's really good. And the great thing about Slerf is that all the tokens are in circulation, and you have a little bit of a burn going on with the revenue generated from Radium. I think it gets burnt, so that's quite good. You know, there's a lot of good things about this token. It's all speculative shit, to be honest with you. Let's not pretend. There's no value in this. There's no intrinsic value in this. All the value is extrinsic. It's the network, the access to liquidity, and also the brand that's been created by that liquidity pool burn and the volume that was generated in the first 24 hours. You know, that's the real value. It's all extrinsic value. There's no intrinsic value to this. Honestly, this is a shit coin like any other one. It's not like TRVL, which has real value. Yeah, which is it's actually a business that's going to change the world. And this TRVL is a business that's going to literally has the potential to destroy Airbnb and take all of its value. TRVL and Dtravel, literally, there's absolutely no reason why TRVL doesn't destroy Airbnb in the same way that Facebook destroyed MySpace. There's no reason why it can't do that. Whereas Slerf, there's no way that Slerf ever is going to become bigger than Dogecoin. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's not. There's no way. It's just not going to happen. It's a shitcoin, right? And just because you put a cute picture of a sloth on all these memes, you know, and NFTs, I bought one. You know, it's all speculative at the end of the day. Why not? You know, you buy them for launch at 5 Solana, and maybe one day in the future you can sell it for 50 Solana, you know, at the peak of some kind of crazy enthusiastic bull market. It's possible. Who knows? No one really knows. But at the end of the day, you must also bear in mind that the value is all extrinsic. There's no intrinsic value except the burn, which comes from the token trading fees from Radium. I don't really see that reflected in the market cap. So right now, Slerf is used as a leverage tool for Bitcoin. That's what's happening with Slerf. People don't realize what's happening. This is what's happening. Yeah, there's no value in this. So right now, people use this to leverage Bitcoin without leveraging Bitcoin. Okay. So if you buy and sell Slerf right now, it's like you're buying Bitcoin or selling Bitcoin leveraged, right? So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, buy Slerf. Absolutely buy Slerf. Buy Slerf on spot. And don't worry about how low it goes, because eventually Bitcoin will get to higher numbers and go past its all-time high, and the market will get overheated. And in that moment, Slerf will pump and pump and pump and pump and pump. And you can make a lot of money from Slerf. And because it's got a fixed market cap, fixed market supply, token supply, and it's got quite wide recognition as a brand, it wouldn't be difficult for Slerf press these buttons by accident. It really wouldn't be difficult for Slerf. 150 market cap, 150 million. I don't know how low it's going to go, but I don't see why that can't 100x to 15 billion if Bitcoin powers through to about $120,000 and the total crypto market cap goes to about 4.5 trillion or more. Yeah, I don't see why in one moment of time where you have a market rotation of capital and Slerf pumps to high numbers, because for one short space of time, when Bitcoin is in price discovery and Slerf eventually gets into price discovery, that Slerf doesn't pump to high numbers. Yeah, so I think that's very possible. So I do think it's potentially a good acquisition. Nothing's changed in my view. That's why I'm following it. Much better than the other tokens, much better than all the other meme coins, simply because literally no one has made any gains on this at all. Whereas on some other coins like the dog with the hat or Pepe or these other rubbish coins, they're all rubbish. Okay, a lot of people are sitting on large amounts of increases in value. On Slerf, the liquidity pool was burnt. There were no airdrops, and no one is sitting on large amounts of value. Everyone is effectively underwater in this token unless they have massive short positions at the highs or anywhere really. Everyone is underwater. So the value, if people are in profit on this, is because they've taken big shorts. Yeah, that's the only. Everyone else is not in profit on this token. So I think that makes it more interesting for in comparison to all the other tokens. Yeah, and so it hasn't really run yet, and I'm very interested in this token. All right, that's the reason why. I think the other thing about Slerf is that it will only do well when Bitcoin is okay. Yeah, because that's where people start to speculate. You know, people are not going to speculate on meme coins if Bitcoin is literally falling to zero. Yeah, if Bitcoin is falling and there's no hope for tomorrow, then every single one of these rubbish coins is going to drop extremely hard and extremely fast. Yeah. So when you see a coin like Slerf finding support and showing strength, that gives you an indication about Bitcoin. It gives you an indication about the sentiment, because the same people who are trading Slerf are the same people who are trading and buying Bitcoin. And so therefore you can easily tell what the market sentiment is like by looking at these truly shit coins. You know, I think Slerf is a good one because the volume is quite high, and it has quite good liquidity. Looking at it right now, just overview, I'm just going to quickly have a brief look. This is my HDX chart. I've got this GAN fan where we're finding a support on the back support of this 2-1. Hold on, let me just see where I took that pivot from. I took that pivot from that pivot high on the HDX chart on March the 24th, 18th of March the 24th to this low. Okay, I'm going to try and replicate that on Bybit, because now that Bybit is actually has more volume, I think everyone really should be using the Bybit chart, even though my Bybit chart's really messy. Let me try and get that GAN back on. It's not to that pivot, it's to the 18th at the HTX all-time high. Basically there, somewhere there. That's probably right. And then you're taking it to this pivot here. I don't know, can't tell. It looks a lot better on the HTX chart. No, it doesn't really. Let me change it. It doesn't really look at that good actually. Nick Matthews, he's back. Who's back? I'm always around. I'm never anywhere. Let me try some of these pivots. I kind of like that one actually. This is quite a nice one. From the HTX high on the 18th of March at 8 AM. That's kind of where I've taken it from. To this pivot here. You can see there's a little bit of an SR flip going on. Here, 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 and then here. And then you can see the 2-1, that kind of front run, but it's kind of like a touch. Doesn't really help us in the current context of where we are at all, actually. Doesn't help. It doesn't help us at all. So it's not very helpful. This one would be more helpful, but it doesn't really line up. Maybe this one. This one. None of them really line up, which is a bit annoying. Let me try this pivot here. Let me try some of these other pivots and see what they look like. I'm not sure. Kind of like this one. I like this one here. The top, I like it a little bit. Nah, it's all rubbish. Can't tell. It's not good. All right, let's try some other things. Let's try this pivot to there. This is a speed fan actually. For speed fans, you have to use the regular chart. You can't use the log chart on speed fans. Okay, just FYI. So I can use a speed fan here. Oh, look at that. That's nice. No, look at that. Look, it came to the 50% and the reaction. Let me pull it further up to there. No, actually, it's just better on this original pivot. Nope. Can't see anything there. Nothing really. The other thing you can do is a speed fan from this pivot here to that one, to this pivot here. It found support here at the 618 and then lost it. 786, 787, 886, 75. The 75 there. 75. Do that. Useless. Let's go back to log. See, this scan fan is nicely reacting on the way down. We came down into the, from that pivot that was put up there, the price came down to the 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 8-1. That's your next buy right there at 24 cents. I don't see, honestly, I don't see why we don't go down to 24 cents. Why not? Look at it. I don't see why we don't go down. We are at the golden pocket now. Okay, so we're having a little bit of reaction. It's actually a really good place to buy. Into the golden pocket, into this speed fan. We have, this is the reaction. What we're experiencing is the reaction. If Bitcoin finds weakness, we lose this area and we head down to the 786. Again, the 786 crossing with this speed fan is a really good place to buy. I'm guessing if I was to pull all of these full fib, that the 2, the 5, the 50% lined up perfectly. Look where it hits. It's amazing. This is actually really amazing. It's amazing because of the time as well and the way it corresponds. Look how amazing this is. It's really fascinating. What I'm seeing right now from this pivot here to the pivot high there that was put in. You draw a GAN fan. You also do a fib retracement from the same pivot to the same pivot at the highs. And you see where the price comes into the 382. It comes in exactly at the 2-1. Find support. Comes in exactly at the 50% at the 3-1. Find support. Comes exactly at the golden pocket at the 4-1. Find support. So by next Thursday. Yeah, let's go down here and find support. Why not? That's what's happening. Looks like it. It looks like that's what's happening. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's interesting. Huh? Very interesting. You see a pattern forming. The next one, you would take that, right? If you came to that location at the right time at the right place, you can buy that. Just buy that dip. Put orders now at 24 cents. and you can sip that dip right there. That'll be a good place to buy. I think this was a good place to buy too. But of course, if Bitcoin starts to find weakness, which it is, then this is not going to hold up. It's not going to hold up. It all depends on Bitcoin. Right now, it all depends on Bitcoin. That's quite interesting. I like this. Let me keep this idea in mind. This is called the Gan Fan Support Fib Retracement. So we've got that idea there. All right. What else have we got? Right, let me just delete all this rubbish. What's that trend line? So that trend line is still in play. If people haven't been following that trend line formed after it hit the second time, and after you hit it the second time, you formed the trend line, and you can see the price has reacted the third time, the fourth time, and now the fifth time. Okay, so there is a trend line in play. It's quite a steep trend line, but other than buying into support and selling at the trend line, you're not looking for long-term buying opportunities here. Yeah, because for the price to go up, it has to break this trend line. If the trend line keeps on holding, you keep on putting in new lows, that's going to be problematic for the price, you know, because it could just keep on doing that until it finally finds the final resting place of the price. And so right now you can see that the trend line is holding. It's good to have that trend line. There's also another trend line. So this is a very steep trend line. Okay, it's very steep in terms of the way the price is descending and the angle of attack. Yeah, I think if you want to be like safe, like super safe on Slerf, and just wait for all of this kind of rubbish to play out, then probably your best course of action is like a slightly less steep one. I think those two pivots could be quite a good one, or potentially if you want a bit of a, I think this one to the all-time high from the beginning. The beginning was when was it? It was the 18th of March. So Bybit came on the 19th of March. You have to put it back a little bit to the HTX high. Maybe just off that pivot, actually thinking about it, probably to that pivot. This for me is the trend line to beat, the outer trend line. Yeah, so I'm just taking it from the Bybit pivot high to this latest pivot that's been put in. Even if, like, and this is what you have to contemplate when it comes to Slerf, even if we somehow break this, we could continue going down. Yeah, don't think that just because you break this trend line we're going up. Ultimately, Slerf is going to have to get past this outer trend line, you know, and it may take a few attempts. You break that, then fill the gap, go all the way up to the top. Yeah, complete the pattern. But that's the trend line. That's the kind of dividing line between continued downward, continued downward, downward continuation, and a change to the way the price moves, and the price moving to the upside. So just bear that in mind. I'm going to keep those two because I think they're very important. I'm going to call them outer trend lines. Right. So that's quite interesting. We've got these GANs, we've got these outer trend lines. We've got some kind of idea of the way the price is moving, forming now. What is that fib? So we have this higher time frame fib. I've taken it from this pivot, the all-time high to this low. Oh, look at that. See that? It's quite interesting. Let's take it to the high. Let's see the high. No. So just take it, just use the buy bit numbers. Use the buy bit low here to the buy bit high. Forget about the all-time high. You can clearly see on a slightly higher time frame, we're getting a little bit of reaction now on the price. You see here the 236. We've lost it. We bounced and we lost it, and now we've come up to back test it. We're finding resistance. The 382 is a little bit messy. Sometimes there was respect, and then you can see here there was none, and here there was, and then here there was, and then here there wasn't. But you can see that 50% was front run there, and here it overshot. So there was a little bit of respect. It's a bit messy. That's quite a good one to have as well. So you've got this higher time frame fib. You could use the HTX launch price all the way up to the HTX high, which I've got marked out. Or you could just use the buy a bit high. I think that these lines aren't exact. They're kind of little areas. So just bear that in. And we're coming back into resistance now on the price action. You wouldn't buy here. You don't buy into resistance. Doesn't matter what the local price action is looking like. You need to flip that into support. And then the other kind of price action that you could do, the other thing that you could do, so not price action, the other thing you could do is let's have a look at this anchored VWAP. These are probably all incorrect now. I'll get rid of them now. I'm just going to focus on Bybit. That's really high up. Most of the volume on Bybit's been at about 53 cents. I've got to update my higher time frame levels. Local range pool, I could probably get rid of that now. It's probably irrelevant. So what I'm going to have a look at now is the volume. So I'm going to use the volume tool to draw the volume. You can see how the price has come into the value area low and found support. There's a little SR flip going on here, by the way, from this pivot here to this low here. So we're getting a little bit of a reaction off this value area. And you can see the HTX, I've got the HTX value area at this SR flip here. As time passes, I'll kind of ignore HTX, but just simply because Bybit is taking over in terms of volume. Okay, at the moment the Bybit value area low is here. You've got the range point of control, and then you've got the Bybit value area high has dropped a bit. Okay, so slowly but surely the value area is shifting down as the volume starts to be put into the lower part of this overall price action, right? There's something to keep in mind. All of these volume levels will react to, or should react to, the price. So it's good to have those volume levels. And then obviously what we're looking at now on the monthly time frame is we have our first brand new spanking new monthly level. That's because we've put in a red month. Okay, so I'm going to mark that. That's going to be a very important and a very strong resistance level to the upside. So if and when in the future we come up to 63 cents, there's going to be a lot of resistance there. There's no doubt about that. You have to bear that in mind. You can't just ignore it. Then what else do I have? I've got, again, that same level. That monthly level is also a weekly level. You see that? So it's not just the monthly level, it's a weekly level. It's a super strong level, 63 cents. A very strong level of resistance there. We have this weekly level here. Let me see if I've marked it out actually. Let me just kind of bring all of these back. No, I haven't. So let me just mark it out. There, that's a weekly level. Okay. And then let me go to my daily time frame. Let me have a look at these daily. You see at that you see at that weekly level, there's also a daily level. That's like unbelievable a strong resistance there at 63 cents. Just put that, like put that in your put an alert on that level. I don't see how we go past that level easily. Be honest with you. Let me just update these daily levels now. That's your daily levels now. So these are your support and resistance levels. You have a weekly there. Is that correct? Yep. There's your weekly. You've got your dailies. These are your higher time frame levels. The strongest one on this graph. The strongest one is going to be this one. That monthly one, your strongest level. So now what you can do is you just get all of your stuff, make it all visible. Okay. Get it all visible. See where we are. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Let's see where the we have a lot of resistance up there in the 60 cents and above. There's a bit of a bunch of resistance, with the most resistance being at about 63 cents, all the way through to about 66, 69. It's all resistance. A lot of resistance up there. Right. You've also got a bunch of resistance here at about 41 cents. See those white lines? So you have a lot of resistance above 63 and above. Like all of that is resistance up there. You have a really strong resistance here. You see that? You've got these trend lines that need to be broken, and you've got this GAN fan which is offering a little bit of support. The problem is that as you lose the GAN, as you go back up, it becomes resistance. Yeah, you have to bear that in mind. It flips. So we are finding support, we are into resistance, but we've just lost a major area of resistance. You see this 236 and 50% mark, which correlates with the HTX value area low into this trend line. We're into resistance now. Yeah, so you need strength to get back above. You would need strength to get back above, you know, to get up there, to break it. It requires a little bit of strength. So it's a good way to see if Bitcoin is now finally showing a bit of strength, because this is going to show strength first. Yeah, and to show strength, you need to reclaim levels, higher levels, and you need to flip them into support. So when you're seeing lost levels, when you're seeing lost fib levels and trend lines that are being respected, when you see the price flip them into support, that's strength. Yeah, so flipping levels from resistance into support is strength. Reclaiming areas of previous ranges is also strength too. So when I'm looking at this overall price action, I can see that there was a very wide range that was from here, basically from here to here. Oh god, I can't draw. You see that? We basically lost it. It's like this whole thing was a range. If you get back into it, it's going to require a little bit of strength to get back into that range. If you see that happen, then that's going to be your first clue. Whatever happens, it doesn't really matter what happens in the future. Just you can't ignore these resistance levels, yeah, because they're quite strong. And it took a little bit of it took large amounts of weakness to lose those areas, and to get them back is going to require a lot of strength. Okay, and naturally when you're trying to buy or accumulate or whatever, you don't buy into weakness, you buy into strength. You don't sell into strength, you sell into weakness. Okay, so when you see continued weakness, people are continuously selling until that changes. Every rise is a selling opportunity, yeah, not a buying opportunity, it's a selling opportunity. Unless you have a higher time frame idea, and then you could argue that the buying, you could dollar cost average in, and it is a buying opportunity. But the problem with descending prices on a brand new token with no real price history is you just don't know how low it's going to go. And that's the biggest problem with a brand new token like this. If this trend continues, this downward trend, and we keep on losing lines and losing levels, and we fall down to here, then what happens? Then where'd you go? Like, no one really knows. Like, you're in price discovery to the downside. And that's why you have to be very careful when you're accumulating a token like this, because you can't buy into weakness. You just don't know how long that's going to last. You don't know how much value is going to exit this token before it finds strength again. Yeah, right now we're looking at 153 million market cap token, right? What if that becomes 10 million in the next 2 weeks? No one really knows what's going to happen. Yeah, if you continuously buy and it loses another $140 million worth of value, you just don't know when to stop. When do you stop? Yeah. And what you have to understand is you have a lot of people buying right now and the price keeps on descending. Most of that is to do with Bitcoin. If at some point these whales who have bought large positions may dump on you, yeah, right now they're buying because they're bullish and they're still bullish on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin can surprise you. And if suddenly these whales feel under pressure, either they'll take big short positions to cover their spot positions so they don't lose value, and so that will still be a downward pressure on the market, or they're going to dump on the market. Yeah, so you have to be very careful with a token like Slerf, and it's always better for strength to wait for strength. Hold on a second. Or just look for short opportunities in short, but you have to have really good invalidations and time. It's hard to short when the price has already moved down quite a lot. Okay, but if you see, you know, when you have invalidations, you know, it is possible. I'm not shorting this. You know, it's really weird because I had a short and I took my profit and I closed it, and I do that too often. Probably because I always find good trades and I'm not too worried about finding good trades. So I think when it comes to buying, probably the next kind of, depending on what happens here, because obviously you're forming some kind of, this looks quite bullish right now because you've come back above this high. It's trying to find support here. There's downward pressure and it's kind of trapped right now. You're underneath an SR flip. You're into resistance. You're into this trend line, but you're back above local support. Probably, if we start losing that, then you would probably look to short that probably, and see what happens. Maybe it will go down. I don't know, but I think the next buy opportunity is going to be either a swing failure of these lows, and that would require this, something like that, or down here, kind of into this daily level, into this fan, into this 786. I think there's quite a good buy area here, and that's definitely something I'll be looking at myself, probably all the way back up to the bottom of this little range at the very least, the backside of this golden pocket, possibly the 618, somewhere like that would be quite a good trade. Okay, be quite an easy trade to take. You'd be buying into fear, you'd be buying into real fear, but you're buying at a really good place. And ultimately I'll be looking for this much steeper trend line to break, and then I'll also be looking for the outer trend line to break. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen, but if and when you have a break on that outer trend line, the price, people think the price is going to be up there when it breaks, but the price could be down here when it breaks. You could break this outer trend line on the 17th of March and the price could be here. You know, you could be down here 25 cents, but what you really want to do is break those lines. That's going to give you the confidence that there's been a change in the way the price is moving, and that's what you want. You want to see the change, you want to see the pattern break. Okay, and once you see these lines break, I think in terms of higher time frame accumulation, if someone is really interested in accumulating, then probably it's best to wait for this outer trend line to break. Okay, and then you can start scaling in safely, because at least you're outside of that trend line, and hopefully by then the downward pressure has ended, the momentum to the downside has ended, and no one really knows where the price is going to be when it breaks. But you know what happens if this downtrend continues? We go down to here. What will happen if you break that and you actually end up down here by sometime in June, July? You actually end up with 11 cents Slerf. You see, you have to be mindful of what could happen if people start dumping, you know, start dumping this token. And what you still want to see that outer trend line break, and the reason why is because the price could quite easily find resistance and go down even further, yeah, when it hits. And the reason why it could hit, because it's only hit twice, it's the third time it normally reacts. And so you have to bear that in mind, and that's kind of why you want to see the price react, go down, or do whatever it wants to do, and then after it breaks you want to think about buying in. After it breaks, takes out that high, puts in a low, goes back up, confirmation. That's a safe place to buy, because you've seen a change. The market's changed, the market's no longer bearish, it's finally become bullish again. And that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see a change in the sentiment of the market. You want the market to tell you that it's now buying, it's not selling anymore, it's starting to buy. Okay, so right now on Slerf, anything could happen, but I think it's better to be careful. Yeah, and it's always possible. Like, look, we're trying to, like, it's looking bullish, huh? Right now, it's quite deceptively bullish, but you can see we're into resistance. Yeah, so it's a difficult one. You wouldn't just buy into resistance. If you're looking to buy, you need this to break. You need to come back down. You need to find support, and then at least then you're buying on support, and you've broken that downward trend line. Okay. You need that to happen first. It's something to bear in mind, right? And I think it's always best when you have a kind of a little bit of a breakdown in Bitcoin, to let the market settle, because the other thing that could be happening is you could be getting a little bit of temporary bullish behavior. Like one day after a Bitcoin collapse, you get a little bit of bullishness on altcoins, and then that just evaporates after one day, and then everything goes back to bearish again. And so you just have to allow that to play out before you get back and get involved in these tokens that are suddenly showing signs of life. It looks bullish. Look, it looks bullish. Double top, break the neckline, back test. The neckline looks bullish, but the confirmation will be a push up, and then as it falls back down, as long as you hold, that will be your entry. Yeah, that will be your entry, and at least then you have a tight invalidation, because then you're not expecting it to fall back down. You're expecting to find support for continuation if the trend is starting now to change. Okay, so just be aware of how the price can move and what the price needs to do to show you that it's strong. Right now I'm not seeing that much strength. I'm just seeing a little bit of bullish reaction after Bitcoin has dumped a little bit, you know. It's overreacting. But the fact that it's showing a little bit of strength tells me that Bitcoin isn't at the moment in danger of dumping. Yeah, the minute Bitcoin's in danger of dumping, this is going to start going first. Yeah, because it's a shit coin. There's a no point coin. I'm gonna put an alert on this daily level because I think I want to buy into it. It's good to kind of set these alerts, and then you don't have to look at the charts anymore. Buy Slerf, daily level, can fan, and 786. It's a good place. That's a really good place. If we can come there by the 3rd or the 4th of May, basically by this weekend, we can. I would love for the price to come down there, and I'd love to buy there, and then I would love for us to be able to break this trend line and start to rally up all the way to there. That would be really nice to see. That'd be a really good trade if we see that. Sell into that. Find support somewhere. I'm just kind of range here for a little bit. That's kind of where I'd like to buy there. That was probably the most perfect place, and that will be quite good as well because you're kind of coming back into this range as well. Let's see. Kind of coming back into the point of control of this range. That would be quite a strong place to buy here. So that's my Slerf trade plan. It doesn't have to happen the way I imagine it. Yeah. This is just if it happens this way, I'll be looking to take a trade at that time, at that place. That'll be a really good place to buy. And and then let's see what happens. This is going to require a more dumping on Bitcoin for this to happen. Huh? A little bit more of a shakeout. That's my Slerf update. There's nothing really interesting to say except if you're looking at Slerf and you're caught in Slerf, you're stuck. If you're stuck in Slerf, then wait for these trend lines to break, okay, before you start improving your position. Yeah, because at the moment we could be heading much further down. The minute they break on the back test, you can start improving your position, or you can start adding. Just make sure you're taking profit. If we do suddenly get some kind of resurgence, like right now we're under major resistance, you can see it clearly, look, at about 31 to 32 cents we're under major resistance. We've lost it. It was support and now we're under resistance. You have to reclaim that to go up. Until you do, we're into resistance. And then higher up at 41 cents. And then obviously there's a big area here with the strongest level being at about 63 cents. That's to the upside. And then to the downside, probably best to wait for the price to come to about 24.5 cents. That's going to be a really good place to buy. It's going to be difficult to buy aggressively into these kind of drops, but that's the place. Yeah, that's the place where you're going to find maximum exhaustion in the price coming down. Yeah, that's the area of interest. All right, and I'll be looking to go into Slerf then. I don't expect the price to just go through that level instantly. It'd be very weird. Right, that's Slerf. Any questions on that? KB6DD is talking to me and he's saying, yo back.